Mother elephant cries and begs man to save her baby. What happens next is unbelievable. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the parched earth. Beneath the shade of an old acacia tree, a young elephant lay still, his large body unmoving. His leg was caught beneath a thick branch, twisted at an odd angle, the flesh bruised and swollen. His mother stood close by, a giant of strength and wisdom, her eyes clouded with sorrow. She paced slowly, never straying far from him, her trunk reaching out in gentle motions as though trying to offer comfort that could not reach her son's pain. The air around them was heavy, the silence deepened by the presence of this silent struggle. The young elephant's breathing was shallow, each labored breath telling of his growing weakness. His mother did not speak. Her voice was held within the low, rumbling growls, the kind that could be mistaken for sounds of concern, but carried with them an unmistakable sadness. She reached for him again, lifting her trunk, her movements slow and deliberate, as if urging him to stand, to rise from the earth. But the young elephant could not. His body was trapped, helpless in the face of nature's cruelty. His foot, twisted and caught beneath the branch, was too swollen to free. Each time he tried to move, the pain was too great. The mother stepped back, her head raised high, as if searching the skies for an answer. Her eyes flicked nervously toward the horizon, scanning the landscape for any sign of help. It was then she noticed the figure in the distance, a lone man, his silhouette dark against the pale light of the evening. He stood watching from a safe distance, unmoving, waiting. The mother's ears flicked nervously and she raised her trunk high into the air, releasing a quiet trumpet. It was not the loud, commanding sound that elephants are known for, but a soft cry, filled with emotion. It was a sound of helplessness, of deep concern, a silent plea for help. The man had heard it, the low, mournful cry that echoed through the dry savanna. He felt the weight of the moment, the urgency that hung thick in the air. His heart sank as he saw the young elephant, still and weak, his body contorted beneath the heavy branch. The mother stood by, her body trembling with the strain of watching her child suffer. The man took a tentative step forward, his boots crunching softly on the dry grass beneath him. He moved slowly with respect, knowing that the bond between mother and child was sacred, unspoken. As he approached, he felt the mother's gaze upon him, steady and unyielding, a silent acknowledgement of his presence. She did not retreat. Instead, she watched him with an intensity that sent a chill through him. He stopped just a few feet away, watching the mother, waiting for her to give him some sign, some indication of what to do next. Her eyes held his for a long moment, her breath slow and steady, her trunk lowering to the ground. There was no fear in her, only an unspoken understanding that she could not do this alone. The man swallowed, feeling the weight of her silent request. He knelt slowly, his movements soft, trying not to startle her. "I'll try," he whispered to himself, though he knew the words would never be enough. They felt so small, so inadequate in the face of such a vast, raw need. With a deep breath, he turned his attention to the young elephant. The moment felt suspended, as if the entire world had paused, holding its breath. The man's hands trembled as he gently placed them on the heavy branch, pinning the young elephant's leg. The heat of the day still clung to the air, the dust rising with every small movement. The mother elephant stood nearby, her eyes never leaving him. Her body was taut, her ears flicking nervously with every sound, every movement in the dry grass around them. She watched him but did not approach. Her trust, though unspoken, was unmistakable. The branch was thick and heavy, its weight impossible for the man to lift alone. The young elephant's breathing came in shallow, uneven gasps, each one a reminder of the urgency. There was a pulse of tension in the air, a heavy quiet that fell between the man's every breath. His mind raced with thoughts of what he could do, but all that came to him was the simple knowledge that he had to try. He worked carefully, his hands running over the smooth, rough bark of the branch, testing it with every touch. Each time he moved, he could feel the weight shift, the pressure that had been forced onto the young elephant's foot. The animal's eyes were wide, dark with fear, but there was no movement, no sign of struggle. It was as if he had already given up. The mother stepped forward, but only by a small measure. She was there, present, a silent witness to the slow and careful work the man was doing. Her trunk lowered to the ground, brushing against the earth as though grounding herself in the moment. She stood still, allowing him to move closer, but not too close. It was her child. She would not leave him, nor would she relinquish control. Yet she allowed the man to continue. With one final, careful push, the man managed to shift the branch just enough for the young elephant's foot to come free. A quiet groan escaped the animal's throat, soft and fragile, as if the pain of movement was too much to bear. But with the branch no longer pressing down on him, he stirred slightly, his body twitching, his chest rising and falling more steadily. The man hesitated for a moment, watching before he slowly stood and backed away. He took a deep breath, his heart racing. The task had been simple, yet it had felt monumental. As he stepped back, the mother elephant moved closer to her son, her trunk reaching out to touch him gently. There was no rush, no sudden movement, only a quiet, soft recognition that her baby was safe for the moment. The young elephant raised his head slowly, his eyes blinking as he tried to orient himself to the world around him. His foot, though still swollen and tender, was no longer trapped. His movements were shaky, tentative, but there was something there, something that had not been there just moments before. He lifted his head higher, swaying slightly as he tried to stand. The mother did not speak. She did not need to. Her presence, steady and unwavering, was enough. She moved behind him, gently pushing him forward with her trunk, guiding him as he found his balance. There was a tenderness in her every gesture, a calm assurance in the way she urged him to stand on his own. And then, with a soft, almost imperceptible nudge from the mother, the young elephant took a step. It was slow, hesitant, but it was a step nonetheless. His foot wavered beneath him, the weight still too much to bear for long. But for the first time, the man saw a glimmer of strength in him. The mother watched, her eyes soft but unwavering. She remained close to him, her large body shielding him from the harsh sun and the vast open space around them. The bond between them was stronger than the injury, stronger than the weight of the moment. The man stood in quiet awe, his heart heavy with both relief and the understanding that there was still much to be done. But for now, the young elephant was standing, and for the mother, this moment was enough. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon, casting a soft golden glow over the savanna. The air had cooled and the dust had settled. The young elephant, though still weak, was standing steadily now. His mother remained close, her presence a constant reassurance. The pain in his leg, though still evident, seemed to be lessening with each passing moment. The man watched from a distance, his heart lightening as the scene unfolded. The young elephant had taken a few more steps, his gait slow but purposeful. His mother walked beside him, guiding him with the gentlest touch of her trunk, urging him forward without ever hurrying him. There was no rush, no urgency, only quiet patience. The man took a step back, the weight of the moment settling around him. He had done what he could, but the true healing was in the bond between mother and child, a bond stronger than any injury. The elephant's trust in her was unspoken but clear, and now it seemed he was beginning to trust his own strength once again. The mother raised her head to the sky, letting out a soft rumble, a sound of quiet satisfaction. The young elephant responded with a gentle trumpet, a sound that carried through the evening air, a sign that he was beginning to find his voice again. It was a small victory, but it was enough. As the mother and son began to move away, the man stayed rooted to the spot, watching them retreat into the vast wilderness. There was no grand farewell, no dramatic gesture, just the steady, rhythmic steps of a family reuniting with the wild. And as they disappeared into the fading light, the man felt a quiet sense of peace. He had witnessed something rare, something beautiful, a moment where life had not been lost but instead found, renewed in the soft, tender rhythm of nature.